hit him with the left, hit him with the right. We're gonna beat the sucker up like fight night.
Boom, boom, boom.
So we had Tommy Fury beating the formerly undefeated Jake Paul, man, in an 8-round match, man. So Jake Paul, man, I don't know, man. It was really controversial because he had the knockdown and Tommy Fury hit him in the back of the head to deduct the point. So I feel like, man, it was a pretty even match, man. But Jake Paul, man, it shows that you're not really a top-notch boxer. And when you get in the ring with somebody with the same tenaciousness as yourself and a boxer, man, you're not as good as you show off. You feel me? So I still like Jake Paul or whatever, but Tommy Fury was that competition that he needed. And 500,000 plus pay-per-views or whatever, which was super huge. And like I say, it was a controversial, man. Jake Paul was still in there, man, handling business or whatever, but going 8 rounds when you're usually only going 1 or 2 rounds, bro, that stuff gonna take a toll, bro. You gotta keep them hands up, man. You throwing all these haymakers and all these overhand rights, bro, you gotta protect yourself, man. I guess they just gave it to the real competitor or whatever on this match, man. I don't know, but Tommy Fury, man, kept it going.
I read like stat lines that were really questionable to me. This is why this whole fight, because I watched this fight, right? Mm-hmm. And granted, I do feel like Fury landed more punches, and he definitely threw more. Jake Paul was throwing like more of a, like you said, more like contact power type hits. It looked like if he would have worked the jab a little bit more, and because the jabs will put him down in the 8th round. So, but scoring right here, I had Fury landed 88 out of 302 total punches. Scoring says Paul landed 49 punches out of 157 total. Like, so all these scoring was questionable to me, man. And it did not seem this lopsided when I was watching this fight, because this fight was back and forth, bro. Paul would start getting Fury come right back at Paul. And Tommy Fury was actually the one that looked gas early on. I think around the 3rd round or something. And then he bounced back, but both fighters got a point deducted from them too. So like the judges, everything was questionable. At the end of the fight, I thought for sure it was going to be a draw. I really did. But 2 judges scored in favor of Fury and 1 had Paul. So it's like the scoring was way too close, I feel like, to be that lopsided stat-wise on a punch, for the punches. But Paul scored that knockdown in the 8th round with a stiff jab. I don't know. I felt like the fight was a lot closer than they scored it. I really do. And actually a couple of former fighters too, fighters still, thought that Jake Paul won that fight too. So it's mixed reactions. Most people saying Tommy Fury beat his ass and won, just because most people, 90% of people don't like Jake Paul, who's watching fighting, I do. I like him. I like what he brings to boxing. He gives us good matchups, gives us good pay-per-view cards. It's really good. But Sean Porter and Deontay Wilder both believe Paul won that fight, and the refs screwed it up. And, and Sean Porter also said he thinks this fight's headed not only for a rematch, but a trilogy. He thinks it's all like setting up perfectly, because Jake Paul is going to probably invoke his rematch clause, he said. So, so I would be ready to see this again, man. Like, I would definitely like to see them fight again. But I disagree with you when you said Jake Paul really don't belong. I think he does belong, because when he can go toe to toe with somebody who's been a boxer their whole life, and you're basically coming out the background of a YouTuber now, he's taking it more serious. He moved to Puerto Rico and shit, just to focus on fighting. But you just got to get better. This was the first true boxer, first true test he's faced. And, and it went back and forth. I don't think it was this lopsided as they said. Some of them only had Paul win in 2 rounds. I'm like, no way, dude. No way. They was way back and forth. And with the fights being that even, and then somebody scores a knockdown, usually that person won the fight. I thought for sure they was going to give it to Jake. I'm like, dude, I'm texting people. Remember, we texted the group text. I'm like, oh, Jake got this. And sure shit, they said Fury, man. But
But this is the only boxer that Jake Paul fought. So he's really 0-1, because you fighting ex-athletes, you fighting ex-UFC fighters, all this stuff. What Anderson Silva, bro, almost knocked him down. You know what I'm saying? Like, almost knocked him out or whatever and stuff too. So, and he's 47, bro. You feel me? Like, you didn't.
That's the spider. The spider.
When you fight somebody same weight, somebody that's conditioned as a fighter, not as a basketball player, not as a UFC fighter, and you fight somebody or whatever with the same tenacity, the same, you know what I'm saying? Like, for the same skill set or whatever, if better or whatever, you find out what happens. You feel me? Like, you can't even really go for those other fights because those guys didn't have any fights either. That was like celebrity boxing.
Yeah, I know, but it's
now you fighting somebody that's a real boxer or whatever. Now you got to see how that stuff goes. Like I said, you did a hell of a job, bro. You did a hell of a job. So I can't take anything away from you, but now you know. You feel me?
Yeah, no question. But they're labeled pro fights, even though they're not professional like fighters. Yeah, I don't get exactly how that works. You're right, but that's the first, like boxer. Of course,
they're not sanctioned fights though. You feel me?
Right, but it counts as pro bouts though. Like for your record, your pro record, that's always counted. That's why he was undefeated. What 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, whatever. Tommy Fury is undefeated too. Still, right. He's faced boxers though, of course. But I'm just saying. But the only thing I didn't really care for was after the fight where Jake Paul was like, "Oh yeah, well I got sick through camp," and I heard like, dude, stall me with all that shit.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't like making excuses, but it's like there's no need to bring it up. And the only reason I say he wasn't making excuses was because Jake Paul flat out came out and said Tommy won that fight. I felt like I gave it my best, and I think we deserve the rematch. That's honest. That's truthful. If you can admit that, you know what I'm saying, then you honestly believe and you give him respect, and that's cool. But with the rematch, though, I don't know. I think Paul's going to go into this one more hungry, and I think whenever it happens, he's going to know what to expect, and he's going to work harder. If you're smart and you really want it, we're going to see how bad Paul really wants it. But I think he can beat him, dude, and the rematch is definitely going to be something exciting to see. I hope Paul wins the next one, not just because I like him or whatever, but if he wins the next one, then we're more likely to see a third fight.
Mm-hmm.
If Fury beats him again, what's the odds that we're going to see a trilogy? It's not going to be Pacquiao, Marquez. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. Nobody's going to want to see that shit a third time if Jake Paul's losing. Well, maybe they will. But they're not like Jake Paul in the fight game, bro. And I don't get it because he brings excitement to it, man. He runs his mouth, but he's been backing it up, whatever. But, I mean, I enjoy it nonetheless. Only thing I don't like about Jake Paul, he's from Ohio.
Hey, so with all these fights that he's coming up with or whatever, didn't he just get signed with MMA? For like the eight fight deal or whatever. So when he gonna have time to do that? When you still fighting other guys and stuff, bro? Like, when do you have the time to put in the extra work or whatever that's gonna take to not get grappled and not get choked out or whatever from these random MMA guys? You feel me? Like, I don't understand the purpose. You feel me?
I have no idea when he's gonna factor that in or when you're just gonna stop and start training for that. But he did sign an MMA deal and he's gonna fight. I mean, he's gonna fight eventually. At least be in the octagon for, I don't know exactly the amount of fights or the contract was for, but I do remember he did sign the MMA deal. So that'll be interesting to see, but he better keep his ass in the boxing ring.
Bro, you got to focus. You got to focus on one thing, man. You got your mind on Tommy Fury. He didn't beat you or whatever, like I say, but dog, you got a whole nother cage of animals that you're going to have to fight in the MMA, bro. And boxing is like the least thing you got to worry about, bro. Because they kicking your legs, bro. If your legs not strong enough, whatever, man, they'll break that shit in half, bro. And you have no career in either. You feel me?
They'll choke you out and shit.
Man,
like it's
out,
way different.
Arm, for real. Yeah, it is. And all, man, get out of here, bro. Them guys are ruthless, bro. For real. They eat glass, bro. For real, these guys are the top of the top.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Animals, bro. For real. Unleashed beasts, bro. You gotta prepare yourself, bro. So if you're gonna fight, keep fighting boxing, bro.
Keep the boxing gloves on.
That's the thing that you're pretty decent at. You feel me? But going to MMA, bro, and not being ready, bro, that is one of the worst decisions that you can ever make in your life, bro, for real. Because you cannot prepare for that stuff, really, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. You have to, if you're gonna be a strong contender MMA, you have to train for that shit for years before you're even remotely ready for a slight little match. Like, for real. Like, you can't just step in after doing different shit. Like, boxing is different, it's more simplistic than MMA. Like, it's not easy, but I'm just saying, like, you have a way better chance in that than you do going into the ring.
You gotta worry about all types of
keep the boxing gloves on, Paul, for real.
Deadly knees and flying kicks and all types of stuff, man. For real. You gotta watch the feet, arms, head, butts, all types of stuff, bro. For real. Knees, everything, bro. Like I say, that stuff is totally different, bro. For real. That's a whole nother level compared to boxing,
Definitely. We'll keep an eye out for that rematch.